Alright guys, name is Tyler aka Nanogenix, and today we have some potentially, that's a key word here, potentially very big news for Super Dragon Ball Heroes. And I know a ton of you guys are going to want to know this because I get asked about this all the time. The Switch game, is it going to come to Dokkan? All of that, so I'm going to tackle this in two separate ways. But first, let's actually look at the news here. So this is coming from Gamatu. A link to the actual article that we're taking this from will be down below. But here it is. The Australian Classification Board has rated Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. That is the brand new Switch game that is slated to release in 2019 over in Japan. But that's why this is so important. The Switch title has currently only been confirmed for release in Japan in 2019. Should just read a little bit farther. The Australian rating suggests Bandai Namco is planning to release the game worldwide. It should be noted that while the title is rated as multi-platform, that does not necessarily mean the game will be released on other platforms, which I highly doubt it would. We've really, even for Japan, we've really only seen that release like on Nintendo consoles like 3DS, etc. Because there's been plenty of Heroes games released on the 3DS, so it just made sense for them to go ahead and move to the next Nintendo platform, which was the Switch. The Switch only Namco Arcade PAC, for example, is also rated as multi-platform. Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission will feature card-based battles with a maximum of 7 cards per player. Approximately 1,160 cards from the Super Dragon Ball Heroes arcade games are included, as well as about 350 characters. So what this means for, of course, those of you that want to play it on Switch, as well as Dokkan Battle, right? So that's why I want to tackle it in two ways, is that it's probably going to release. Now, I said this a while back, that why would they bring over the actual Heroes arcade cabinets and make actual English Heroes cards, right? So I will put a link to it at the end of this one, but I actually went to the Dragon Ball World Tour at San Diego Comic-Con, and I got actual English Dragon Ball Heroes cards, the first of their kind. They've never actually created English cards before. They're always in Japanese, but actual English Dragon Ball Heroes cards that I played on an actual Dragon Ball Heroes arcade cabinet, the real deal that you play over in Japan and, you know, all of the cafes and stuff like that, and actually played the game. It had been localized, not obviously the dub, none of the dub cast was there, but everything was actually in English, and I was playing it, and it was actually a ton of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I always kind of thought it was kind of weird when you watch the videos of it, but once I actually played for myself, it was an absolute ton of fun, and I was really hoping that it was going to launch worldwide. But if this is the sort of substitute of that, is getting a Switch game for Dragon Ball Heroes, I'm totally okay with it. So that, them actually taking the time to localize that, at least to that extent, right, the text, everything else, bringing over actual arcade cabinets to have people in the US actually play, seemed like that was kind of like, maybe they're testing the waters a little bit. Now that we've seen them also potentially be getting everything ready and everything in motion to release the game outside of Japan here for it actually getting rated in Australia, I mean, all signs are pointing to yes. But again, not a 100% guarantee that this is going to release outside of Japan. It's just all pointing to yes. Now on the Dokkan side. So as for Dokkan Battle, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, Global getting the shaft because JP has gotten a few Heroes cards, like less than 10 Heroes cards, 2 banners so far. We're about to get a third one, which is what you've been looking at on your screen. That's the third one that should be releasing either sometime this weekend, maybe next week, probably next week. But anyway, what I want to actually say here is that I think that they've actually been somewhat tame. If you guys have ever looked into anything for Super Dragon Ball Heroes, they go crazy. It was like someone at Bandai or some sort of head office at one of the many places that have their sort of, you know, fingers in the Dragon Ball universe, looked at some like fan art and looked at just, there was a big sort of audience for these sort of crazy transformations, all these crazy fusions, everything else, and said, hey, there is absolutely an audience for this sort of crazy stuff. Let's like actually capitalize on that and do that ourselves, which is why we have Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I mean, there's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Vegito Blue, that's kind of a redundant way to say that, but you guys get what I'm saying. There's SSJ4 Vegito, which is actually super recent. There's just many different timelines. There's adult Gotenks. There's so many crazy things, right? There's just a ton of stuff. SSJ3 Bardock. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So I feel like, honestly, they've been kind of tame up until this point with the JP releases of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes cards. So if this were to actually get localized and Dokkan was to get these sort of, you know, the 10-ish cards that JP has that global worldwide Dokkan doesn't have, then it would be very cool to see it sort of get localized outside there and then be able to go, okay, now that both of our versions of our games can have all these cool cards, as you heard me say that there are almost 1,200 different cards that are going to be in the Switch version of the game, that is a lot of sort of potential they could run with to bring into Dokkan. So, and Dokkan is absolutely a game that why not? You know, why not give us an SSJ4 Vegito? Why not? So it'd be very cool to see it actually localize onto the global game, the global side of the game, and then them just run wild with it and give us these cool sort of crossover characters and stuff like that. At that point, we could legitimately have a dual Dokkan Fest of LR SSJ4 Gogeta, which, you know, actually happened in GT, and then LR SSJ4 Vegito, which of course happened on the Super Dragon Ball Heroes side. I don't even care. That would be friggin' dope. So anyways, again, this is all very potential. This is not that it is going to happen. It's just that the percentage of it happening, you know, obviously on a Switch version of the game actually releasing outside of Japan, much higher. Global Dokkan getting actual Heroes cards, significantly higher. All of it, way higher, which again, like I said earlier, which is about to pop up, when I went and actually played the actual arcade cabinets, I was like, there's obviously a reason here that they took the time to localize this and bring this over here for us to play, if they are not, at least in their minds, thinking of releasing this outside of Japan for the first time in 8 years, because Dragon Ball Heroes is celebrating its 8th anniversary right now, which is why we're getting this new banner. So anyways, guys, there you go. If you want to stay tuned for more news, because once we finally get some more news on this, I will absolutely be covering it. I really hope that we're going to be getting that ultimate mission on the Switch here in the US. I highly doubt it will be dubbed, especially not for this first sort of go around, right? I assume if anything, it will just get localized. The text will be in English and we will have the Japanese voice actors. But if it is a big enough success, I could see Bandai actually taking the time to get it dubbed and everything else for a World Mission 2 or something like that in the future. So I do hope this actually happens. I hope this is all signs pointing to yes. And then on top of that, if this does happen, then I think this is also all signs pointing to yes on the global release of superheroes cards on Dokkan, which could mean even much bigger yeses, because at that point, I don't feel like they can hold back on cards and we can just start getting some crazy stuff. So anyways, guys, there you go. If you're new to the channel, you're not done so yet, consider hitting that subscribe button down there, joining the hashtag NanoFam today, because there's a side like button as well. Guys, have a great day. Keep on keeping on Nanogenix on off, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.